Hey Queen, welcome to another episode of the Wealthy Woman podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr, aka the Femalepreneur Coach, and I'm so excited for today's episode. It's something that I've really put a lot of thought into because I really feel the collective energy needs this episode. So I'm going to be sharing with you how to create your own action plan and fast track to financial freedom. And this will be based on my 5-step framework, or 5 evolutions and levels that I think that you need to go through in order to truly achieve financial freedom and abundance in your life. But it will be personal to you. So I want you to listen or watch or digest this episode and then obviously go away and use that as a framework to create your own personalized action plan. So let's dive in. I'm so excited. So this for me, like I say, it is my core purpose. I love helping women to support themselves and find that financial empowerment because for me, and obviously I work specifically with women in business, but you can apply this even if you don't have a business. I just think if you're a business owner, you have so much more opportunities available to you to create this abundance and to move through these steps in a much more timely manner than if you are just focusing on one sole income as an employee. It's not to say that you can't have a side hustle, and I would definitely encourage you, if you are in a paid employed situation right now, that you always are actively looking for opportunities outside of just your current job to make money. And it could be part-time side hustles, it could be other jobs, it could be just getting really creative with how, like, selling stuff in your home and all the things, because the more that you can create that buffer between you and your expenses, the more financial freedom that you can ultimately be experiencing, the more that you live life on your own terms. And that is the reality. That for me is ultimately, it's like I always say to my clients, give people what they want, but deliver what they need. And for me, I'll talk about business strategies, sales, up leveling your money mindset, healing past traumas, and all of the things. But what I'm actually wanting to deliver to my clients is empowerment and self trust, where no amount of money is going to, or anything outside of yourself, is going to make you feel like and remind yourself what an absolute badass you are. Because until you have that financial stability and safety, you are always dependent on so many things outside of you to keep you happy and to keep you safe. So that's ultimately what I am delivering with my clients. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I'm really excited. And equally, if you follow me on socials, the Femalepreneur Coach, I am taking through my content this week, I'm going to be going through each one of the 5 steps for anybody that is interested in diving a little bit deeper into each step. So as I mentioned, I've got like a 5-step framework, and I think you have to go through each of these steps to reach that financial freedom. Those numbers will be different depending on where you are in life, what your goals are, what your needs. So the first step really is about getting super clear on what does financial freedom mean to you? And equally, what does it look like for you? How much money do you need? What are your goals? Do you want to buy a house? Do you not want to buy a house? Do you want to be completely have all of your money working for you so that you don't even have to have a job? Or are you happy to have a business? Do you want to be living somewhere else? Are you willing to take drastic action in this process? And it's such a personal journey. It's why I like to do this very much in a collaborative way with my clients. So I've got a session tomorrow and we'll be talking about this. I've also got the Wealthy Woman Academy this week. So we will be diving deep into what does this look like for each of the women, because we are very multifaceted, multi-passionate beings. Things are very different. What looks like success for one person is not going to look like success for somebody else. And the first step in this process is really getting clear on what does that financial freedom look like for you? What is the number that you need? What are the goals that you want to achieve? Is that to become a homeowner? Is that to build up a stocks and shares portfolio? Is that to have an incredible retirement and pension? What is that for you? And first of all is obviously get clear on that. underpinning this whole journey. So it's like I've got my 5 steps, but underpinning this whole journey is your money mindset. Because as you reach each new level and each new step of abundance and income, your mindset has to evolve with you. Otherwise, you will always have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, because you will only ever receive the amount of money that your brain feels is safe for you to receive, and that your belief system tells you that you are worthy of receiving. So that's what a lot of clients don't realize, is that they are the problem. This is why like 70% of lottery winners lose their money within the first couple of years, because they haven't acclimatized to receiving the amount of money that they do. So therefore, and they don't feel worthy of receiving it either. So therefore, it feels very unsafe. It feels very unfamiliar. They self-sabotage at every turn. They are over generous to everybody else around them. And that money doesn't stay with them for very long. Either they, unexpected taxes, expenses incurred, spending it like they stole it. And they end up very much either back at zero or even in a worse state because of these extra commitments. So your money mindset and your belief system around money and your nervous system and what you feel comfortable receiving and holding onto needs to evolve alongside you with every step in this framework. So the very first step is to really get clear, as I said, on what does financial freedom look like for you. So for me personally, it looks like, and here's the thing, I wouldn't say that I am at the state of financial freedom yet. Yes, I'm a couple of stages into the framework, but for me, true financial freedom looks like not having to work at all, having so many investments and passive income streams and such a diverse portfolio of income that I actually don't need to work at all, and that I can just live my best life, be a philanthropist, and just kind of, spend time writing and focusing on all of the great causes that I want to support. But perhaps I don't necessarily need to do the day-to-day elements of running a business, but equally I still want to have a hand in it. I still want to, coach, teach, support, inspire, be in service of incredible women, but just maybe at a different level. So even for me, where I thought financial freedom was a few years ago is very different to what I see as financial freedom now. And it will probably change again as I get there, as I move through more of the steps in the journey. It will probably change again as I get there. So always be continually realigning your goals and your vision with your desires and your values. That's it. That's literally how it needs to be a very fluid, very collaborative, very like evolving process for me. But you have to start somewhere, right? So you got to start with where you are and what feels like financial freedom right now. So step 1 is deciding on a number that you would consider your safety savings. So here's the thing. I always say to my clients, have £1,000 in savings that are completely separate, completely forgotten about, not untouchable, because we want it to be there if we need it, so that we don't have to resort to high interest loans, credit cards, overdrafts to pay unexpected bills. But that essentially in your mind, like that's allocated, it's done. It's not there tempting you. It's not something that you continually dip in and out of, but it is something that is going to enable you to sleep at night, knowing that if the worst came to the worst, and I hate talking about like doomsday scenarios, but if something came up unexpectedly, as a business owner, it can happen, that you've got it handled essentially, and you don't need to rely on anybody else to help you in that situation. Like, you're safe, you have everything you need. And I always think that £1,000 is a good initial safety number, good initial number for safety savings, because most things are probably that or less. If it was things like, because you can plan for most things, that's the thing, through insurance policies, through having, sensible savings anyway. So this isn't to replace your everyday savings and other, goals for holidays and those sorts of things, and long-term savings goals. This isn't it's completely separate to all of that. So, if you've got ambitions to buy a house and all the things, like, continue to save towards that. If you're going on holiday, save towards that. Christmas, special occasions, weddings, babies, all of those things, still have your regular savings. But for most things, it's that £1,000 mark that would really derail us. And it's why 46% of people in the UK, 46%, that's half of the population, don't even have £1,000 in savings. If something came up unexpectedly, they couldn't cover that cost. They would have to resort to payday loans, to parents, to overdrafts, credit cards, high interest loans. That means that £1,000 is like now escalating by the moment, and is going to cause them a lot more money in the long run. And that number for women is actually even higher because, we, for so many reasons why we're not set up to have financial independence and empowerment. But, that could include having to take career breaks, not necessarily being able to work full time if you've got children, having so many other expenses, caring commitments, all of those sorts of things, extortionate costs of childcare, and all of the other expenses incurred just by being a woman. We are actually less likely, as well as, lack of financial education, not being set up for success, our partners being, if you have a partner, being the primary breadwinner, or, single mums that are having to do all the things by themselves, we are even less likely to have that £1,000 safety savings. So then what happens is something comes up, and I'm talking about things that are genuinely like you can't foresee it. Or if you are a business owner, it's those feast and famine cycles in your business that can really derail you and cause you to, and it is inevitable, right? And here's the thing, like, most business mentors will tell you that, the better it gets, the better it gets. As long as you've got, like, great sales systems and all the things, there will never be a dip in your business again. That's a load of rubbish, because that isn't the journey of an entrepreneur. And inevitably there will be, it's like a kind of a bit of a step thing, in that there will be times that your income plateaus. There will be times when the universe hasn't had a chance to catch up with your new sense of self-belief, and your reality isn't quite matching, the potential of your business. There will be times where people let you down and clients default on payments, and shizzle happens as a business owner. That's the thing. And it can be very difficult at the beginning of your business journey to facilitate that, especially if your business is something that needs to pay your bills. If it is something that, I don't have another business, I don't have another partner, I don't have something else that is going to keep me safe right now. This business needs to deliver, and I can't afford to have these dips in income. I totally get that. And yeah, in the beginning stages, it can be hard to get an overdraft. It can be hard to get a credit card. It can be hard to get things that would enable you to facilitate those temporary dips in income. So having those safety savings is, imperative if there's something that's, because what you don't want to do is get stuck so that you can't grow your business. You can never kind of catch up or get ahead. So then when it comes to investing in new team members or ads or opportunities for visibility and things that are going to, investments that are like mentorship, investments that are going to grow your business in the long run, if you don't have anything left over for that, then you're always going to become the block to your own success. And I've seen that many times with clients where they are literally taking every penny out of their business every month, and it's constant survival mode. You want to try and intentionally decide that that is not your reality anymore, that you are treating your business like a business, that you are allowing yourself to grow your profits, to continue to reinvest, not continue to the point of your detriment where you're just reinvest. Don't believe in that. I believe you get to get paid now and also plant seeds for the future. But you need to be able to fuel your business growth and treat it like the business with the potential that it has. Like Jeff Bezos isn't taking every penny out of Amazon to pay his mortgage every month. It's continually, got this lovely little pot to fuel its growth and build its team and infrastructure and all of the things. We need to make sure that your business has the same. So decide what that number is for you. And for you, £1,000 could be like mind blowing at this stage, or it could be nothing. There's a time where £1,000 would have been a life changer to me. Like, especially when I worked in corporate, if I'd earned £1,000, are you joking? £1,000 on top of my wages, I would have literally died and felt like I'd won the lottery, because that was just such a lot of money to me at that time. Obviously my mortgage was only like £500, so that would have been like literally life changing. And I think I probably only had 2 or 3 kids. That definitely would have paid for a holiday or something at that point. Nowadays, £1,000 is like, that's not even going to cut it. That's not going to do anything for me personally, because of the stage of business that I'm at, because of the expenses that I've got, because of the commitments that I make, because the amount of fuel that it needs to grow that business. £1,000 wouldn't even touch the sides, let alone cover any meaningful expenses. So my number is higher. And equally, I've got a lot more kids now. So £1,000 doesn't even cover half, like even a fifth of our personal bills. So what is that number for you? I've picked £1,000, and I've actually got a free downloadable resource, which is £1,000 savings challenge, which is like a downloadable tracker. It's got inspiration on there as to how you can create an extra £1,000 this month, both inside and outside of your business, because it's all about wholeness, and tapping into the full abundance that's available to you as a woman. So I really encourage you, it's completely free, like do that, because energy flows where focus goes. And the more you kind of literally commit to this, I'm looking at my plan that's actually in my diary. I have mine actually, like when I start a new plan, a new diary, sorry, every year. And I had to get a new one recently because I lost mine. And I do actually have an iPad. And if anybody knows like good digital planners, let me know. But I keep flitting in and out. And, I'm such a stationary geek. I love a planner. Maybe that will be a new venture for me at some point. But the first thing I do, like front of mind, is write down my action plan and realign with it, refocus, write my action plan for financial freedom, and then list out all the steps. Now, for me, because I've moved on a little bit, I'm actually further on. I've actually now got like step 6, step 7, step 8. Like I'm just continually leveling up when it comes to wealth, because there's more possibilities available for me now. For you at the very beginning, if we just limited it to 5, that would be really, really incredible. So the first one is to decide on what your safety number is. So that is a number that is going to enable you to pay for any unexpected bills. So if something happened in the house, if you had to pay premiums on your insurance, like your home insurance or your life insurance or any of those sorts of things, car insurance. So something that is going to cover that amount and potentially some of these unexpected bills. What is that number for you? It's going to enable you to sleep at night knowing that it's handled, but it's equally an amount of money that you can afford to release and put away in a separate account. Now, I would encourage you to put it somewhere where it's still accessible. We don't want any of these 95-day accounts where you can't get access to your own goddamn money, because that means if it was unexpected and an emergency, you still can't access that money. How bloody annoying. And then you're still going to have to resort to something else more drastic whilst you try and figure out how to get hold of this money. So I am actually really old fashioned. I like premium bonds. So my money is in premium bonds, because otherwise all of my banking apps show me that money every day. And I've got other savings accounts and I can see it every time I go on there. So there is still a little like temptation to think, oh, that's exciting. I could do something with that. And for me, as like a perpetual traveler, it's always holidays and travel. So if you've got it somewhere where it is accessible but out of mind, that's the ideal place to put your money. But equally, something that you're going to, it's going to be a bit of a stretch, and it's going to be something that you need to work towards that's actually a meaningful amount. It is going to be enough if something comes up. So we don't want to lowball this and be like, oh, 50 quid. Yeah, that'll do. I can sleep at night on 50 quid, because that's not going to do anything. We want it to be a bit of a stretch, because equally, I want you to have the satisfaction that when you tick this milestone off, you are really going to be so goddamn proud of yourself, because we are going to use that win to leverage to create the other, to move on to the other steps. And I think sometimes you have to blow your own damn mind and be really goddamn proud of what you've achieved, so that you can then move on and remind yourself how much bigger and better things you can do as well. So that is step 1. Create your safety savings number and create your account, use the tracker to then start intentionally moving money over there. So I started, and again, this isn't meant to rob you now to pay for later. It's meant to be done in a way that, you know, you can put intent. It's like all of your focus is going into that one goal, but equally, it's not going to leave you short in the meantime. Like there's still a level of expansiveness in creating this savings account, which is why, so for instance, I get a really great interest cashback on my bank account. It works out like £15 a month, which is really amazing. So that just goes to my safety savings because I don't need that money for anything. That's not going to change my life, but it is bonus money. So I put it over into my safety savings because, you know, over the course of the year, that's a nice, you know, couple of £100 or over £100 that will be otherwise not doing very much, but still, you know, adds to my overall pot of wealth. So that feels really exciting. That's why in the challenge download, you'll also get lots of tips and inspiration as to how you can create additional money this month. This isn't about like taking it and then struggling to get through the month. But equally, you might want to use it as an opportunity to realign some of your expenses and be like, actually, in the grand scheme of things, if I've now made this decision to move towards financial freedom, is that expense still like, is it still a thing? Do I still need it? Is it still a priority? And this isn't about stripping out joy from your life. I don't believe in saving from a place of lack, which most money mindset mentors will tell you to do, like to cut out your coffee, cut out your holidays. Like if you want it, just go like do nothing for 2 years. That to me feels like hell. And I believe that you create more abundance from a place of abundance. So it's better to just look at more money. You can only ever get your expenses down to zero, but particularly if you're a business owner, your potential to earn more money is unlimited. Number 2 is to pay off high interest debts. So these are things where you are getting massively penalized for just making the minimal payments each month. So it could be car loans, business loans, credit cards, anything that is high interest and you know it. Let's start getting, you know, order them by list of highest interest rate first. So there's 2 ways to pay off debts. One is to pay off the highest interest first, and one is to pay off the smallest amount first. Now, I've had both approaches over the years. You know that self-sabotage is part of my journey as a money mentor, and I've definitely battled with debt over the years. And for me, it was about like, what are the quick wins? Looking at my credit cards, God, this was probably about 15 years ago. I had lots of credit card debts. I had loans, I had overdrafts. I'd been made redundant and had like a crazy, and this was in the time where like mortgage rates were through the roof. So I was paying like 4 times on my mortgage what I had originally thought I would. I had a housemate that moved out, and it was just like this series of unfortunate events that had just kept me in this spiral of literally, you know, just every month surviving. And I was in corporate, I was working 3 jobs, like I couldn't do any more than I was doing. So I thought, I need some wins, because every month feels like a loss and it feels stressful and I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. So for me, yes, it would have made more sense to tackle the high interest loans first, but I would have been doing that for another year. So I was like, that I'm not motivated in that way. I need to get some, I've got like a list of like 10 people that I owe right now. I need to start doing it by the smallest amounts first. So it's like I could just leverage that win and then put that money that I was, you know, paying towards this credit card towards the next thing. And it really helped to get a lot of momentum behind clearing those debts. And obviously I didn't have kids, so it was easy enough to just pick up extra shifts and not go out at the weekend and all of those sorts of things. But this is why I'm saying it's such a personal journey. But pay off whatever it is that is really hurting you at the moment and costing you way more in the long run. Then I want you to reevaluate your safety savings. So step 3 is to then take your safety savings up a notch. We're looking for at least 1 month, if not 2, amount of expenses. essentially, like if you were unable to work for a month or 2 months, could you cover all of your expenses personally and in your business? And if you can't, that's where we want to then take your safety savings up a notch, because if you've cleared off your high interest debts, that's probably saved you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds a month. So to get to that next level with your safety savings should actually be pretty good. Number 4 is to clear your remaining debts. So this could be this could be your mortgage if it's a low interest debt, if you've got other things like longer term debts that aren't really like a big deal but are still debts, still accruing interest, something that is still there, and a monthly outgoing, because what we want to do is reduce our outgoings as much as possible. And then step 5 is where you look at things like saving for a house deposit, paying down your mortgage, increasing your pension contributions, in building your investment portfolio. So again, that could be with your step 3 safety savings, where you actually then move them over into a high interest investment portfolio account. And that's what I've done with mine, so that I am continually benefiting from the compound effects of more interest, of those capital gains. So if you are interested in diving deeper into this is just a broad overview. Obviously, if you're on my emailing list, I'm going to be going into more detail on each step and also on my socials this week. But if you really want some tailored support to help you with defining and creating and keeping you accountable to your own personalized roadmap to financial freedom, then join me inside the Wealthy Woman Academy. This is what we do. It's not just about making more money in your business. It's also about climatizing to that wealth, really optimizing every opportunity to step into your most abundant self, but also creating this wealth and financial freedom also. Then I would love to see you over there. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and let me know your takeaways from today and download your tracker.